בפגישה שלנו ראינו את העיתון הגמלאים בחדרה, היא לא עשתה מזה עניין, היא עשתה תאריך, באנו לכאן, היא עשתה לנו הדרכה בכל מוזיאון.
They were here to interview me. I said, okay, 1 hour. It took 4 hours. Can you believe this? I don't believe. תודה רבה.
אז קודם כל באנו להביא לך את העתיקים למשפחה ולך. תודה רבה לבנה. שאני מברך אותך בכל הטוב, אנחנו כל כך התרגשנו להיות פה ולראות אותך. תודה.
He is co-president, I am his vice president, okay? He's my boss. So I have to be careful what I say. אז עכשיו זהו, אני משאירה את המיקרופון לסילבן, יספר לכם על ג'ייג'ק, הוא ייתן לכם את הדוח מחקר של ג'ייג'ק. Now we will talk about Jewry and about the research report of Jewry we gave to the United Nations, but it's only the first draft. The last one will be presented in December. We are working on this. You cannot imagine כמה אנחנו עובדים על זה יום ולילה. Every day, day and night. אז עכשיו סילבן בבקשה.
Before we start the presentation that we did at the UN, I'd like to give you a background of JJAC. I have been involved in JJAC when I was co-president of Canadian Jewish Congress. And I had to sit automatically on JJAC board. When I finished my mandate at the Congress, Canadian Jewish Congress, I was asked to stay on the executive. And then I was named co-president since then. And I've been co-president for the last 20 years, I believe. And we did a lot of work. So when we started the process, we realized something. The Palestinians had a narrative, they had a message. We are refugees. Jews don't belong here. We lost money, and we are victims. And the Jews are from Europe. That was the message. So we started the process, which took a lot of time, to be recognized as refugees. We had to look at the law, and we have a gentleman who worked with us, David Malas. He is a lawyer specializing in this type of subject. We got a legal approval that we could be considered as refugees. We worked with the government of America, Jerry Nadler, who did a lot of work with us. Tom Lantos, we negotiated with him to get a bill introduced at the US Congress, which was signed in 2008, where you had a unanimous resolution of the US Congress that recognizes that the Jews of Arab lands and Iran are refugees, and that no solution in the Middle East could be taken without looking at this resolution. Then we did the same thing at the UN. I spoke at the UN in New York, talking about this. I was with the World Jewish Congress. And by the way, just after my speech at the UN in New York, I was interviewed by a reporter from Al Jazeera who wasn't aware that there were Jews from refugees. A young guy, they didn't know this. Then we spoke at Ottawa. We got also the approval from the Canadian Parliament. We spoke at the House of Lords in England. We had a presentation at the UN in Geneva. And finally, we got the actual process in place. And then we had to go to the next step, which is now that we are, and by the way, we also in 2014, remember that? We introduced a bill at the Knesset to recognize that November the 30th is the official day of Yom HaPlitim, of the refugees of Arab lands. And this resolution at the Knesset was signed by myself, by Rabbi Abadi, who is my co-president, and by Stanley Erman. So this resolution was helped through Jerry Nadler, who made it possible to have the Knesset approve that. So today, officially, November the 30th is the official day of the exodus of Jews from Arab lands. JJAC is a coalition of many organizations. So head office is in New York. I am the co-president and managing director of the operation. We have a sister organization in California with Regina called Jimena. We have, of course, our sister organization in Israel. We have also a sister organization in Switzerland, JJAC Switzerland. We just created JJAC France. We have also Khalif in the UK. So we have a good pan-European North
Lily
America.
Shore asked about Iraq. I told her Maurice Shochet
Oui.
is representative of Iraq. United
We have. I mean, we invite you to go on the board on the website. We have a very impressive group of people working with us. A few years back, a donor gave us a few million shekalim to work on a project to evaluate the losses of the Jews from Arab lands and Iraq. So we put together a group of economists, analysts, historians, statisticians. It took us about 4 years to do the study, and I'm going to talk about it now. We also hired a firm, another firm, to check the first one, to make sure that everything is verified. So now I'm going to show you a part of the presentation that we gave at the end. We talked about most of the story that we're talking about. I'm going to concentrate on JJAC's mission is to ensure that justice for Jews, for Jewish refugees from Arab lands and Iran, assume its rightful place on the international arena, and that the rights of the press are taken into consideration. We believe that we have a very good message today. I can tell you something. Every year, we prepare a brief that is sent to the White House, so that the White House knows what we're doing. Most of the reports that we have issued have been sent to Google and to Kushner, so they know what we're doing. Next slide, please. So, historical context. You can see here that the presence of the Jews in all those countries start from the 6th century BCE to the 1st century CE. And we have all the sources to confirm that. Next, okay. Now we all know that under the terms of the Pact of Umar during the time of Muhammad, the Jews were supposed to be slaughtered. The Jewish tribes were supposed to be slaughtered by Muhammad and his savage warriors. They negotiated something with the Jews, which is, we're not going to kill you, but you're going to be denies, you're going to pray, you're going to pay us money just for being kept alive. So this is the treaty, the Pact of Umar. And it has been going on now for 1,000 years. From a population of over nearly 1 million Jews in Arab lands and Iran, we have about 1 million in 10 countries. So what happened in most of the time? After the war, after 1948, when the Arab countries reacted to the creation of the State of Israel, this triggered a flow of measures that is incredible. We do have a copy of the official letter signed by the Arab League that says, now that your Jews are going to Israel, we're going to punish our Jews. We have the official document from the Arab League that decided to do to the Jews what they did. You can see some example here of what happened. Syria, Iraq, Egypt, Aden, Yemen, right? I mean, we do have a lot of bad memories. I think this is the most unknown piece of history. The whole world is talking about the miseries of the Palestinians. Nobody knows about this. Our own people doesn't know about it. No books, no history, no school knows about it. And the objective that we have now is to make it more public. Just to give you more example, next week on Sunday, I'm in Jerusalem meaning a field ministry to combat anti-Semitism. We're going to be working on a plan to use some of the work that we did to combat anti-Semitism and fight the injustice that we went through. Next slide, Kassam, please. Okay. So, under Muslim rule, Jews were subjected to widespread pattern of persecution. I mean, we have examples of that. So, when the term refugees is mentioned in the context of the Middle East, the international community's single focus has been on Palestinian refugees. In 1948, there was Resolution 242, which says that the refugees should be compensated. They didn't say the Arab refugees. You also had Jewish refugees and Christian refugees. But we didn't get any, nothing. So this is also part of the history that we want to provide. Now, we have less than 1% of these million Jews who stayed in Arab countries. Next slide. This is I don't know if you know Martin Gilbert. Martin Gilbert, may he rest in peace, wrote a book called The House of Ishmael. This is the story of the Jews in Arab land, and that's a map that represents where the Jews came from to go to Israel. 70% of the Jews from Arab land went to Israel. Now look at this map, try to think something else. All the Jews going to Israel, and the hate coming also to Israel. Same graph, same direction. Jews left, hate goes. Next slide, please. So now, this is the evolution of the population of Jews in different countries. And again, those are the best statistics we can have. We had a long agreement with Nevada, because we said 75,000 Jews, she said more than so. We had to agree on something. And she was nice to accept. I had to convince Nevada, please accept. Why? Because the 75,000 came from Martin Gilbert book, which was a reference. But obviously, we all know it's more than that in Egypt. Also, the moment this is going to be public, it's going to be very soon, these numbers will be scrutinized. They will try to find anything to prove that it's wrong. So I'd rather have 100,000 Jews in Egypt and put 75,000 than the other way around. So we are trying to be conservative as much as possible to avoid any usage of those numbers to discredit us. Next slide, please, Hassan. Okay, so those are the countries that we're talking about. And we have to say that we're talking about Arab lands and Iran, which is not Arab. So that's why we always made a distinction between. We want also to make it very clear. What we're doing, we're not negating what the Palestinians went through. All we say is if you want justice for the Palestinians, you cannot give them justice without giving us justice. That's the message. You suffered, we suffered. You are refugees, we are refugees. Now, how did we, I'm going to go through the process on how we established the losses. In each country, we have three types of losses: individual losses, businesses, and communal. For individual losses, you have people who live in cities and in the country. We have like real estate, property, financial assets, and business assets. So we have all those categories that we have to establish to basically come out with a number. What we did is this. The team of people that work for us visit to 22 archives in 6 countries. We discussed with all community leaders. We discussed with subject matter experts from every country. We collected all historical sources. We gathered first-hand testimonials. And we collected as much as we could And the principle were transparency, professionalism, trustworthiness, simplicity, and multidisciplinary. We use also a lot of testimonials from the Israeli government, from the Alliance Universelle, and from papers, documents that were given to us by people from all these countries. So this is an example of a form of a testimonial. So those are the three stages. The first stage, we collect information. The second stage, we enter all this information, and then we do the analysis. Next slide, please. Okay. What kind of documents we have? We have scanned copies of testimonials. We have handwritten testimonials from people who say, well, like Ivana say, I know something that my father used to have, we write it down. And we also have handwritten testimonials from the Israeli Ministry of Justice and the archives. Those archives were collected by the State of Israel as soon as those refugees came into the country. All testimonials were classified as processed or unprocessed. Next slide. So this is a type of, we have hundreds of spreadsheets like this, and we have personal information, real estate, business, movables, and land. And we go by date and by country. Next. Okay. Challenges, of course. We have a lot of challenges because we have different times. Someone will come with a testimonial from 1956, somebody else from 48, from 62, and we had to compile all of that in methodology. My own background is mathematical modeling. So I was able to put together the methodology, all the algorithm, to take that into consideration, do the best we can. Do the best we can. The numbers that we're going to show you are way, way, way undervalued, but we wanted to play on the caution side. Okay, in terms of, we have, like in any society, we have the wealthy and upper middle class, and the poor people. Next slide, please. So, this is an example of Egypt. I didn't do it because it was today, but it was an example that we had at the UN. But look at that. That is very interesting. 30% of the Jews in Egypt were wealthy and upper to middle class, 20% middle class, and 50% lower to middle poor. 4,500 households in wealthy people, 3,000 in middle, and 7,500 in lower classes. So altogether, we have the demographic distribution. Now, the assets that we have from 1948, the wealthy and the median, so you have a spectrum of numbers. And you cannot take the average, you have to take what we call the median, which is the most representative number that we can use. What we came out is a value of just urban assets of $55 million as of 1948. Next slide, please. So, when you take all those numbers by country, by year, we use a financial formula which calculates the future value from the present value. So we look at the present value, and we apply this formula where I is interest, because of course you have a rate that goes year by year, and N is the number of years, the number of periods, 12 months, and the time, the number of years. Next slide, please. Okay, so that's an example from Egypt. We started in 1948 with 1,147,108,811. So that was in the value in 1948. When you apply the formula, you come out to roughly $60 billion today.
Wow.
In Egypt alone. And it's very conservative. I can tell you something. I went through the contribution of Jews from Egypt to the society. It's amazing. The banking system has been created by the Jews. The movies by the Jews, music by the Jews, philosophy by the Jews in Egypt. Next slide, please. So, we had 4 countries where we had as much data as possible. So we decided to concentrate on those 4 countries: Egypt, Iran, Iraq, Syria. This is where we had the most archives. And based on our methodology, those 4 countries have a value today of $166 billion US.
Wow.
It's a lot of money. I mean, it is a challenge. You have to look at each country differently. Some countries have a large amount of poor people than others. But next slide, please. We have 7 other countries where we didn't have as much data as we had the day before. So next slide. So what we had to do, we had to take an approach which basically say, between those 4 countries, the average per Jew per family is so much. Then we applied the same thing for the other 7 countries, and we discounted that number by 50%. So next slide, please. So I'm sorry, 68. So we established that for 7 countries, the value of the losses, and Morocco is special, because in Morocco we calculated only the communal assets. Cemeteries, synagogues, schools, because people left Morocco were not obliged to leave, so we did not calculate the asset or loss by the Jews from Morocco. Each country is different. Algeria, also, you have the that gave the French nationality to the Jews, and they had some compensation by the French government. So outside of those 2 countries, we applied different methodology on the other 5. So it is, I mean, the methodology has some challenges, but we have to cope with them. Next slide, please. Okay. So, like I said before, we established a discount on those 7 countries. And go to the next slide, please. Okay. So we came out with the midpoint between all those countries of this amount. 91 million from Morocco, 277 million from Yemen, all the way to Aden. So you can see the largest one is Tunisia, $529 million. Next slide, please. Okay. So by using the $1.8 million in 1948, by using the same formula of establishing a future value, we came out with 7 countries to $96 billion. What we did also, and when you do all the calculation, it comes out to $263 billion. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money that the world has ignored. There was a real ethnic cleansing that the world has ignored. We are not refugees, we're part of the land. So this is the other part of the study that we did. For every country, we had historians telling us the story of the Jews in each of those countries. So we can go back to before Islam. We show that we are part of the country, part of the landscape. We also show what the Jews have contributed to those countries. And the message is this: if today the value of you lost $260 billion. This is what the Arab countries lost. The impact of $260 billion. Imagine if the Jews had stayed in those countries, how the economy would have been in those countries. This is a message. The historical background, we give some example here of the Alliance School in Beirut, and that's before and after. Okay, so that's the breakdown of those countries. Basically, for the Aron Accord to have some significance, we believe that our story should be known. Now, what we presented at the UN We're working now on 11 books. One book per country. We have finished all of them by the end of November. All of the books will have been finished, available. So they will have the history of the Jews in that country, the contribution of the Jews in that country, and the losses. Each book is about 100 pages. At the UN, we presented the executive summary of all those books, and they will be in a printed format by the end of November.
How many pages?
Altogether 1,000 pages, but 100 pages per country. So what did we do also for the last, I would say, 6 months? We hired a firm to do some vignettes, some media, and we had tremendous response. We have been working with a guy from Israel, Eddie Cohen. I'm sure you guys know Eddie Cohen. Eddie Cohen?
Eddie Cohen.
No, listen. No. So Eddie has an amazing follow-up. We produced some vignettes in Arabic, and he had over 1 million views. 1 million views. So that's what we've been doing. We just finished also a video. I just saw the last draft today, which is a video that will be presented to the government of Israel. So the next step for us is, of course, what are we going to do? We did a lot. We did a lot, and we have to be proud of the team that we put together. I mean, Levana has been amazing. We're working with Zach Trash, with Henry Green from Miami, Stan Herman, of course, working with us, Adi Schwartz. So it was a very good team that we put together. We worked with Philippe Sadon in Madrid, who did all the video and this social media. We're working with another Philip Massoulin here in Austria to look at the psychological aspect of media planning. So that's my presentation for you, and I'd like to thank you.
Thank you very much.
תודה רבה, סילבן. זה brilliant. זה היה מבריק.